It's Tim back for the third segment of my videos today, the steps of an ordered life that we're talking about. Welcome back. Uh, I see sometimes some of y'all listen to the first one, the last one first, and so forth. But anyhow, I think you get the gist of what I'm saying today. In my little I want to say my little fireside chat. Thank God we don't have to have it on fire, but in our conversation today, and I always feel so privileged to be able to sit with you and talk to you and share my heart and share everything that I've experienced in my life and how I have an overcoming life, and you can have a winner's life. I was thinking about the other day, that how can I talk about this? Thinking about the other day how successful my life has been. Have I had failures in my life? Yeah, but I don't think about those. The failures don't count. Successes count, and continue to live in a successful life. And that's where God wants you to live. That's the steps of an ordered life. And anyhow, kind of getting in my story here, I've been doing, we've been doing videos now. I've been doing videos now for a year. And I guess I have over 90 videos are out there or whatever, but I'm trying to talk to you about the stages of life. And of course, the mainstay or the principal thing again is that we're talking about love and love in marriage, love in your family, love in life, or to be loving life and have the true love story of your life and the very best of your life. I was thinking about it the other day, not the other day, maybe this morning, I was thinking about, wow, what a great life, physical life that I had being married to Carolyn for 49 years. And I got to feeling so thankful to the Lord, and I just thanked Him that I can truly see how that was an ordered life. That I had the steps of an ordered life, and my steps are continuing to be ordered, and so are yours. So anyhow, I just want to kind of put that in there, but kind of getting back to our story after Carol and I had gotten here. I think I told you that she had right off she got a job. I want you to understand that if you understand that type of life, those things are drawn to you. The enemy would try to divert those and delay those things. It's like every day I pray to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west to let my finances go, let my businesses go, let my projects go, and that it's going to come to me. So I'm speaking, not beginning, but continually to speak over those things, and you get to where you can use your mouth, and use your mouth properly. Use your mouth to bless and not curse, or even cuss, because your mouth, you want your mouth to be a cleansed mouth, a whole mouth. What I mean by that is saying the truth, and not, again, you're choosing death or life, cursings or blessing. And we want to choose blessing. We've lived all our life wanting and striving and fighting the good fight of faith to stay in the blessings. Like I said, right off, Carolyn got a job. And then just a few days later, I got a job, and so we're working in that, and just kind of show you another step that our life was ordered. We wanted to actually go to private school, and so private school costs extra, and so when we came, we had actually sold most everything we had, maybe some household items, and sofa and bed and stuff like that, and of course all our clothes, or majority of the clothes. And so the only thing that we hadn't sold was a Rich Plan freezer, commercial freezer. It was a really nice freezer. It had the cooling coils under each of the racks. You know, he wasn't just cooled round of it. It was everything. It was really a nice deal, nice refrigerator. And so, you know, you say, well, Tim, how did you know that you were going to be able to do all this and get Thaxton in school and send him to school, and you guys just now starting your jobs, you know, and stuff like that? Well, I had faith to know that God loved me and that He was going to protect me and that He was going to provide for me. I never, and I still don't do this. I never tried to. Now my mind would want to go there sometimes. Never try to figure out how He's going to do it. I don't do that. Now, do I do planning and, you know, and preparation and stuff like that? Yeah, I do those things. But it doesn't matter to me how it comes to me, but I know it's going to come to me. So anyhow, we had this freezer, and we were needing $300 to get Thaxton into school. It was $250 to pre-register to start school, and then back then, you know, they still had what I like to do now, have uniforms, and it was going to cost me $50 to get a uniform. And I think that was maybe one or two outfits or whatever, you know, had the blazer, the pants, and the tie, you know, the white shirt and all that. And so people would say to us, well, have you got them registered in school yet? Oh, not yet. We will. And it costs a lot of money, don't it? You know, God always provides. He always has, even through the lean times that we thought we were going through, even the times we lost our job, and we sold our house, you know, things like that. And so we didn't have a sign out posted somewhere that we had this refrigerator for sale. So we knew we needed $300, and we'd prayed and was believing God that we were going to do that, you know, or going to have that. And so one day, I guess it was in the evening. It was after working hours, whatever. We were at home, and we heard a knock on the outside fence. You know, we had a little courtyard there where we stayed. Not much of one, just kind of an entryway. It had a door on the outside, and then you go into the little area, and then you had another door going into the apartment. And we'd heard somebody banging on that. So we went and said, "Yeah, can we help you?" He said, "Yeah, I understand you have a freezer for sale." And I said, "Carolyn, did you put out a notice or thing?" She said, "No." She said, "I may have voiced it out, you know, whatever, but it didn't have a sign out or anything." And I said, "Well, praise God, we're gonna get a buyer here." So I opened it, and he came in, looked at it, and, you know, and I explained to him, you know, what it was and what a good unit it was and everything, and so he looked at it and he said, "Well, you know," he said, "how much you want for it?" I don't think he even knew how much we wanted for it. I said, "We want $300 for it." And he said, $300, huh? He said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, $300. And so there's times to be quiet, and then because you can motor mouth over conversation sometime and not let the step of that progress the way it's supposed to be, right? You see what I'm saying? Steps of ordered life, even something like this. People say, "Well, that's a minor thing." Well, not if it's a step, because it's going to step you up or bring you further along in whatever area that you need for it to happen. So he said, "Well, how much you want for it?" And I said, $300. And, you know, and you really want to sell it, huh? I said, "Yes, sir, $300. And a lot of times when people say that, they're trying to say, "Well, will you take," or they wanting you to say, "Well, I tell you what, if you buy it, I'll take less for it." No, we needed $300. And we weren't trying to be unfair, because it's worth that. Well worth it. And so he said, you know, he folded his arms, you know, and so did I. I folded my arms. $300, huh? Yes, sir, $300. Well, I was thinking about maybe $200, something like that. I said, I said, okay, I understand that. Everybody wants to get a good deal. I understand that. And I didn't say no more because the Lord, he said, don't say any more. Let the conversation come back to him. $300. And I said, yes, sir, $300. Well, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'll take it for $300. So we sold that freezer for $300. We had wondered in our mind, and through all the transitioning about and selling stuff and moving to the Dallas area, because we knew that's where we were supposed to be, and we knew God was bringing us here. That steps, those were steps of an ordered life. You may think that's just coincidental or whatever. I don't believe that. If you want to believe that, that's fine. And so we had our $300. Tuition was due the next morning. I went the next morning, $250, got taxed in school, and we went down and bought $50 worth of uniforms. And again, someone may say, well, that's coincidental. You can call it whatever you want to. I call it my steps was ordered. So now if you start thinking about that and you start looking at that thing in that way, you will understand and see that's an ordered life, steps of an ordered life. So anyhow, we got taxed in school, and then the age-old question is, how are you going to pay the tuition each month? Well, our comeback answer is that we're going to believe God, and God's going to make a way. We always came back there. Did we have that in our mind? How are we going to make the tuition? Yeah, that's a thought, but we didn't keep entertaining that thought. We dismissed that thought. So that's the way our life was, knowing that the steps of an ordered life, that we're going to live that way. Now, did we had total revelation of how that was going to work? No. But I knew that God would tell us as we had the need to know. Sometimes you want to know too much, and you don't have the need to know all of that. And I think that's really where the understanding of faith comes in, that you have faith in God, and that faith will always come across when you need it for it. I told you about that story that I'd gotten there, and then my cousin had passed out, and they took him in the ambulance to the hospital, and then I went on, and like I said, got the hotel room and all that. I thought no more of that. Why he would say, why didn't you get upset about that? Well, I knew that God was working, because first of all, God is always on time, and he knew that I needed to be there at that time. Now, did I say to that situation? No, I had faith to know that this was going to happen. So again, that is understanding the steps of an ordered life. Now, can it be out of order? Most definitely. But I'd rather have it in order. It's just like going to a restaurant. You want to get your order right the first time instead of having to say, oh, this didn't want that. I need this, whatever. And so anyhow, we started to work, and we're doing real well. God, we believe God that we would do well, and we were still tithers, and we have our tithers' rights, that the Word says that He will open the windows of heaven, and He will rebuke the devourer for our sake. Now, did we know how that would come about, how we would have finances for this and that? No, we didn't worry about that, or we didn't let ourselves worry about that. Let me say that. So we knew that the tither's rights that we had was that He would open the windows of heaven, and that He would rebuke the devourer for our sake, and all we had to do was our part. All we had to do was take our step through this life, through the steps of an ordered life. So that's what we did. So here we rocked on for a while. We was going out to church on a rock wall, place of prayer out there. Was driving out there and was involved in it. So a lot of great things happening. Made a lot of great friends. Jackson was in school making making friends in school, and life was really, really wonderful, you know. So one day I was at work and I'd gotten this job, and I wanted to be a sales manager. I didn't want to be just a salesman. Previously, when I was in Beaumont, I'd worked a job that I was a sales manager, and I'd helped start this business with this other gentleman, and so him and I developed this business together, which was a really good business. He later on got sold that business or something and went to Austin as a politician. I don't know if he's still there or not, but anyhow, being here now working for this company, well, I want to be a sales manager, and they said, oh yeah, we'll make you a sales manager. Well, they didn't keep their word to me. And I asked them about it, and they said, well, you're too good a salesman. We want you to continue to be a salesman. I said, well, that's not where I want to be. And I said, I'll do a great job for you, continue to do a great job for you. And I did. You always be a person of excellence, even if you're working for some place that you don't want to be or you don't like or whatever. You always work at the level of excellence in what you do. So it came to a point that prayer, praying and for our next step, and to know our step, the step of our ordered life is ours. And did I know that phrase at that time? No, but we were taking the steps of that. A lot of these titles and stuff I get to give you are titles that I get from the conversation that I'm going to have, because that's what brought this on, and brought this development on of how life was molded and worked out for us. So anyhow, we were praying, and Carol and I were we were in sync. When you're in love with unconditional love, and when you're 100% for that other person and not for what you can get out of that. The word says it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. But when you're giving all, you're going to get all. And that's the kind of relationship we had. And so it was almost like simultaneously, I told Carol, I want to talk to you, and set the table. And I'd got my pad out, and I said, well, how much money do we have? And she said, we have $200. I said, okay, $200. Everything was paid, rent and all that was paid. And we had two old cars that we brought with us, that we were driving. And so we sat down, and it was almost like in harmony that I said, well, I want to say something to you. And she said, yeah, I think you should do that. I think you should start your own business. And before I could say it, then Carolyn knew in the spirit. And then did I know that I was supposed to start that business? To me, that was confirmation. That was total agreement. So I did. I told the people, I said, I gave my 2 weeks notice. I said, I'll finish all the projects, and everything, but I'm going to not be here, at this deal. So I did. I finished up it strong. I sold a couple of ministries or churches. Templo de Alabanzo was the last big sale I had. I sold a big phone system for them. We were in the communication business. That's where I was doing that, selling for them. But I gave my notice, and so it was the last day of my notice. I would not do anything to try to go out and get business while I was working, or doing, even though that I was a commission salesman, and because I also had a draw that I got so much money, and so I was going to give them everything I had, even though that I knew that I was going to be moving on to doing something else. So I did, and then we started our business. We started. It was called Affordable ATS, Affordable Telephone Systems at the time, and then later on through the years, we changed it to Fortech Communications, being the 4 different technologies: media, surveillance, IT and voice, data and IT and voice. And so we started our own business, and I was working there at the dinner table. That was my desk, and Carolyn had come in that day, and such a wonderful woman. So, and you guys that know her, I mean, she's a very unique, very special, such a gift. Thank you, Lord, for Carolyn. And she said, "Man, you got everything spread out on the table. Where am I going to put supper?" I said, "Well, I'll gather it all up and get it out of the way." She said, "You know what? You need a desk, don't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I do." She said, "Well, when we eat supper, after we get through eating supper, let's pray, and then we believe God for a desk." I said, "Okay." So we had our supper, and then we were praying over the desk. I have a desk that day, and so the next day, Carolyn was at work, of course, and she was, how good she was with people, and conversation wise, and she was talking to one of the maintenance guys, and she said that, Tim has started his own business. He said, "Oh, he has? What is he doing?" And so she told him he's in the communication business. And she said, and I want to tell you guys this: if you know of a desk, we're looking to get a desk. Well, do you have any money to pay for the desk? And Carolyn wouldn't say, "Yeah, we only have $200." She would said, "Yeah, we got the money for it, but we'd like to find a good deal, and we will, and we need a desk." I said, "Okay." So close to the end of the day, this one maintenance guy come up to Carolyn. He said, even back then they called her Miss Carolyn. Said, "Miss Carolyn." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you a good cook?" And she said, "Well, Tim says I am, so that's all that matters." That I'm a good cook. And he said, "Can you make a mean apple pie?" She said, "I don't know about it being mean, but I make a good apple pie." And he said, "Well, you know what I mean." And they got a big laugh out of it, big ha-ha out of that. He said, "Well, I'll tell you what, if you'll bake me an apple pie, a good apple pie, I'll trade you a desk for an apple pie." So that's how I got my first desk. Carolyn traded an apple pie for a desk, and that's how we got started with our office furniture and stuff. She baked a pie, and I got my desk. And check this out, it wasn't one of those back then. It wasn't one of those old particle board, put together desks, which was 3 times as heavy because it got all that press board and everything in it. But it was an actual wood desk, man. It was a great desk. It was a great desk. And so I had my little corner there in the apartment, and that's when I started doing business. And we were giving, like I said, normally in our tithe, and so we began to plant seed. We had learned to plant seed, and so we started planting seed for more office furniture and office space and all that, and of course for business. And we had planted seed for business, and some offering and things like that. And then I went out, I made this call, and you guys may remember this company. I don't know if they're still around now. It's called ATI, American Trade Institute, in Dallas. And that was my first big account that I had, and I actually had sold it that day after we had planted our seed. Now, do all seeds come up that quick? No. Excuse me, no. But see, we're planters of seed. Understand this. There's seed within your seed. So when you plant a seed and you get a harvest from that seed, there's more seed to plant, and that's what we had done. Even when we didn't have work and we were just, having a tough time financially or whatever, we always gave, and he was always giving back to us. I remember one time we went over to this couple's house, and they didn't have any grocery, and we'd gotten $50 that day. We sold something. We got $50 that day. And so we knew that they were having, uh, having some issues. So the church had a pantry, and we got a bunch of food and took it over to them. And the Lord said, "Give them that $50." I thought, "Oh Lord, that's my last $50." He said, "Give them the $50." So I never really argued with the Lord, about that. And Carolyn looked at me, and it's like, okay, I know. So we gave them that. So what I'm saying is that we planted seeds all along, all this time. And so when we needed a quick harvest, we just didn't have just to plant the seed for that harvest. And I'm not saying though that you can't plant it and it can come to fruition pretty quick, because some seeds have miracle grow in them. So when you plant those seeds, man, boom, they all become a plant, become an ear, become the harvest from it. And understanding that when you're doing that, the people say, well, how can you tell the difference between a harvest and the seed? The harvest will taste good to you if you eat the seed. In other words, like if you got an apple and you bit into the seed or any other kind of seed, if you could bite it through, it tastes bitter, right? Well, you're not supposed to eat that. That's your seed. So you plant your seed. So we had planted seed as we went along. So it got to the point I started getting all these projects in, all these businesses in, and I employed a few people, and man, we were doing so well. And then I hear this inside of me today. It says, those were steps of an ordered life. Not a disordered life or out of order life, but an ordered life. Now, did we experience things, obstacles, dream killers, naysayers? Hey, what are you doing in business, boy? Nobody in your family ever been in business before. Why don't you get a real job? But I knew that God was calling us to be in business. And, I'm still in business after 36 years now. And so you will have those dream stealers and the dream killers, I call it, too. Understand what the word says. The enemy comes to what? Steal, kill, and destroy. The enemy would come in, steal your dream, kill your dream, and destroy your dream. And if he can do all three of those and he destroys it, then it's not a dream anymore for you. So that's why I said in my first video too, I talked about there's someone, I want you to rewind that, revisit that, those dreams and things you have. I don't believe it's totally dead yet. If it is, then walk away, and then God will give you another one. But anyhow, you see like the word says, he steals. Understand this is the right order. He steals, kills, and destroys. So we had the naysayers and all that. That's fine. And some of the naysayers were people that just didn't understand or never been in business before, whatever. But I didn't know any better but than to have faith and go on and do business, even though I didn't know what I was doing at times, I knew I could always ask. God would always tell me or help me. I knew how to pray in tongues. I'd pray in tongues, and he'd give me interpretation of that or give me directions from that, So, when I make a call or conversation, I'll pray in the Spirit before it, and then God always gives me what to say and know what to say, know to be quiet, and so forth and so on. But anyhow, we were growing, and so we needed to move out of the apartment as far as the office was concerned. And so I had got my first office over close to Harry Hines and Royal Lane, the area over there, and I gotten in there, and it would cost me $500 a month for the office. Nice big office, had several rooms in it, and it was full of furniture, and so I called the people that was in there previously. I said, look, I have this furniture here. I'll be glad to help you get it, shipper and send it to you and everything. And they said, do you want to buy it? I said no, I don't want to buy it. I had my one desk and had a file folders and file cabinets and things like that. I said no, I don't want to buy it. We don't have the money set aside to do that yet. And eventually we'll have office furniture. So I offered to sit it back, and I finally got a call back from him, and the guy said, well, how much you think it's going to cost to ship it? And I had an estimate, and I gave him. He said, well, he said, I tell you what, if you want the furniture, why don't you just keep it? So through the seed of the apple pie and the seed on the desk, I got a furnished office with all the desks, all the file cabinets, everything. Of course, there wasn't very many computers back then, but everything, man. You talking about a happy camper. Man, I was praising God. And I knew that my seed would do that, would make that happen. So people ask me, how do you operate in business? How do you do business? I do business under the blessing and not under the cursing. The blessing of the Lord makes me rich, and there's no struggle, no toil in it. Now, did I work hard beginning? Yes. But I have become wiser now, not just because that I don't like working hard, but I came wiser that I was doing what I know to do, but that wasn't totally how God wanted me to do it. So anyhow, I'll talk about that the next time. But yeah, again, thank you for letting me come in your home today and talking about it. And I'm going to say to you, you have steps of a ordered life, and God's got great things for you. Well, I'm going to say what Carolyn always says, and I say, we are eternal, and I would talk to you later. And I want to finish this up, say, I love you guys so much. I do. I love you with all my heart. You guys have a good day. Bye.